Thank you so much for watching these videos. If you've ever wondered about Vuex or Vue states, this is the video for you, and this is what we're going to be doing. So we have a cut here, and this cut is on a different page, and we also have the subtract and add to cut here. All right, so this is what you will be able to achieve. You'll be able to add to cut and then go to the other page and subtract. So I've been able to add and then go to the other page and subtract from cut, and everything is updating on each and every page that you create. All right, so with that, let's dive into the video and we are able to see how we created this in a nutshell. Now this video may be long, but don't worry. I think each and every test of this is preferably inclusive to you, that you don't know anything about Vuex or Vue states until you get the matter of the whole concept of Vuex and Vue states. Let's go ahead and learn into this video. Welcome back. Thank you so much for watching these videos. My name is Kamia Simon and we are having a Vue.js project. Now this Vue.js project, I'm taking you from the basic to intermediate, and maybe you can become pro at any time. All right, so in this is part 2 of our Vuex, how to set up Vuex. And I began by creating a shopping cart in the previous video where I could subtract or add, and these are on different pages I want to demonstrate. But you can see this on this page I'm adding, and on this page I'm subtracting, but when I go to the previous page, you do not have what is on the other page. In fact, it resets back to 0. So how do we make it retain whatever either of the pages has? That is one. And secondly, the shopping cart here is supposed to display number, but this number here is supposed to come from whatever changes are being made on either of the two pages. All right, so first, do not forget to subscribe, like and share these videos. Comment. I do read comments personally. Like, okay, so that the YouTube algorithm can suggest this video to others. Do not forget to look for my playlist called Vue Tips, so Vue.js tips, and I'm very sure you could have found this shopping cart among. So this goes along with very many things I discover and tips on how to go around with Vue.js. All right, so do not forget to go and donate to my link here. The link is also down there in the description, and also look through other videos. I also have a playlist on Vue Native. Those of you who want to create a mobile application using Vue.js, so we have Vue Native for you. You can go ahead and watch that list. Okay, it's free on YouTube. All right, so let's go ahead and go to what brings us here today. So today we're going to create our Vuex or Vuex or Vue states. All right, so I'm going to go to JS. So I'm going to go to my JS folder and I create a new folder, and this folder I can call it Vuex so that you understand what we have. And inside Vuex, I'm going to call one called storage.js. Now you can name it anything, but like I always say, storage, just like that, or store.js. So you'll find some developers calling it storage, others calling it store. So you can name it whatever you want, but like I usually say, that it is very important that you have a naming convention or standard that other developers will find easy to adopt to when they come. So as usual, the first thing we're going to do is import Vue from Vue. And then next we're going to import Vuex from Vuex. Now, by the way, you can import more. For example, we can import the router, but because if we need to route to other pages after setting a condition, but no worries, I'll show you that in some other videos. But let's go ahead and we are going to create a constant that is going to store our items. So a constant, which constant will be maybe store, okay, and then it will equal to new Vuex. Now remember the Vuex that we have, new Vuex. And one thing I've forgotten here, I'm supposed to use Vuex. So Vue dot use, okay, So we are going to use Vuex, this Vuex that I've brought in here. So use Vuex, and then I can terminate this. All right, so store dot new Vuex. Okay, let me type it again. Store dot new Vuex dot store. Okay, so store is already embedded in Vuex. Okay, then whatever goes into these brackets is what you have for yourself. So the first thing we're going to have is we're going to have a state. And this state, okay, is okay. Great, there you go. And this state, the first state is going to be maybe cat. Okay, so cat has no initial value. Great. So now, for us to get what is in this state, let me first export. Let me first do this. So for us to get what is in this state, we need to have getters. So I'll do getters. Okay. And then the getters are going to have a function. So maybe we are going to get cat. So get cat, which is going to take in the state that was stored there. So state, so the state property up there. Okay. So this state is being brought in as a variable here. Okay. So this function is taking in the variable state, and then we return something. So what do we return? So we return, before I even return, let me first do a console.log. So I do a console.log of what is in that state. So it will be state dot cat. Okay, so state dot cat. So let me see. If I have a state dot cat, now even if I do a console.log, it won't load simply because this has not been rendered yet. Okay, so how do we make sure that this is rendered so that it can be seen? We need to export it. Okay, so we're going to export a default, and the default we are exporting is store, and then we terminate. All right, so we need to import store somewhere, and then we reuse it. So let's go ahead. So now that I've exported the store, which means I need now first of all to bring it into my entry point. So I'm going to import store from, okay, remember we are just on top, so dot stroke Vuex, which is our folder, and inside Vuex we have storage. Great, so which means we can now use store. Okay, now that we have used store, it means we can use our Vuex, and our Vuex is ready to go. For example, the first thing I'm going to have, okay, let me check. So, all right, so it is clashing with the Ravel UI. Okay, so let me go ahead and inspect, and I see what I have. From my inspections, I'll come here and choose the console. So I see what I have in the console. Hey, I've chosen the console. All right, so let me see what messages I have in the console. Okay, so I need to first make sure that I get what I have so that both of these keep the initial value. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go to my home, and I write this. So I'm going to go into the methods here. okay? And then I do this. The first thing I need to do is to make sure that, before I even do that, I think let me first do this. I'm going to make sure that the moment you have a mount, okay, so you've mounted, you're going to run this dot add, okay, that will solve, because this is a, okay, this is a function. And then I do the same, this dot sub the other side on the about page. So I'm going to do a mounted property. So mounted to mean when the page has loaded. Okay. So this is going, okay, this is this dot sub. This is going to help solve that error. So mounted property, sorry, it will run this dot sub. So this is going to solve that error of refreshing every time something is done. So if I go to subtract, come on. So we can go now to our about page and trying to access that. So what we're going to do, let's first get whatever is being returned in the cart whenever we press this button. All right, so I'll let, which means I'm creating a variable. So let x equal to, and what should it equal to? It is going to equal to this dot store dot $store dot getters. Now these getters that we have here in storage. So these getters dot this function. So dot getters dot get cart. Great. So I need to see what I really have stored in X. So I'm going to do a simple console.log X. But even if I don't do that, I think this dot getters will give me what I want. So let me first go ahead and see what I have. All right, so I want to see it here in the console here. So when I click subtract, okay, you can see it's already here because I've already rendered it. So this is a cut, I've already rendered it here in the storage. All right, so this is a cut and this is what we have here. All right, so I want to display that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come here and return state dot cut. Okay, so now, which means I can come here and do, let this equal to that all do, okay, instead of this minus that. So I'm just going to comment this and I'm going to do, okay, this dot, okay, show subcut is equal to X, because I already created the X variable there. All right, so I'm going to re-evaluate this by reloading this page. And when I click subtract, you can see this is a cut. It's already there. All right, so what we need to do, we need to add this is a cut. Whenever someone presses, the value is there, and add can also find that value. So I'm going to go ahead and change this number to a value. So let me change. So I'm going to go to this and I give it an initial value. It can be empty, by the way. In fact, let it be empty. Great. And then let me first give it an initial value so that we see what we have. So the initial value is 0. Okay. If I come and I click on subtract, the initial value will be 0, and I can make this value empty, by the way. This one, it doesn't need to be 0. It can be empty, okay? But it will mark my initial value as 0. So when I sub, okay, I have commented out this, okay? So I'll comment this and then uncomment this so that it subtracts 1. All right, so you can see it has already subtracted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this value because this value is stored in the storage. So let me make sure that value is also reflected up here. Okay, so I'm going to go to my home page. Is it the home page or welcome page? Okay, and I do the same. So in the welcome page, I do have something called shopping cart here, and I'm going to give it a value of cart or value. Let me just give it value, something like that. So which means I need to store that value here in my return. So in return, I'm going to return value, which will be empty. So as you already guessed, I just need to create a method that is going to get whatever I have, even if I don't create that method, but rather I create what they call a computed property. So I'm going to write one called computed, okay? So a computed property, and I can give it a function, which function is going to be get cart value, just like that. And this get cart value is going to do this dot value, which value we already have up there. This dot value is equal to, we already have this dot, we are supposed to have getters, okay, this dot storage. So this dot store dot getters dot get cut, okay, dot get cut. Is it cut? Yes, dot get cut. Okay, I'm very sure we expect something up there. All right, so I'll go back and refresh. And then this value has not displayed. Do I need to return it? Okay, let me first, by the way, add something. When I click subtract, okay, nothing changes up there. I need to see, should I give this value x and then also give this value x here? Okay, that is okay. Computed this dot cut value. Great. So I think I'm going to return this. So return this dot cut value to that. And then instead, I'm going to get cut value, and it's the one I'm going to render here. Great. Cut value. All right, so we have 0. When I subtract here, I don't see anything. It's because I've not dispatched, but you see the initial value is 0. So even if I change it to a text in my storage, I'm sorry for this long video, and I say, hey, cut, it will reflect up there. As hey cut, and even in subtract, I expect it to have hey cut, but I think I do still have the subtract issue there. All right, so I'm going to rename this. I'm going to put this back to 0, or I make it empty. It's no worries. So which means nothing will reflect. Now we're going to take in whatever value has been whatever has been done here. We're going to take it to the storage here, and then we update that value instantly. And how do we do that? So instead, when someone presses the button here, the sub function is going to do what they call a dispatch. So let me first comment this because I'm going to take it. So the sub function is going to do what they call a dispatch. So it's going to do this dot dollar store, okay, dot dispatch, okay, and I'm not going to add a payload for now. I'm not going to add a payload. I'm just going to take the action. So the action, okay, is going to be maybe remove from cart. I'm just giving it remove from cart. Okay, so which means we need to go in our storage and create this action. All right, so we may also not need this for the moment, for today, but I just want to show you that whatever is stored in the storage remains in the storage. All right, so we're going to go to the storage and we create this action. So that action is under actions. So we first created the state, we created the getters, so we're going to create the actions. So the action takes on whatever activity we need to do. So I need to add a comma here. So the action is going to be called remove cut, and then it will take in a state as a commanded or as a required property. So remember, we already have our getters here. So we're going to create maybe one variable. So let x, okay, or let v for value equal to this dot getters dot get cut. So get cut minus 1. Minus 1. Okay, so we have this, but this does not mean that the activity is done. So what are we going to do? So first of all, we need to make sure that the state cut is 0, okay, as the initial property. Otherwise, we shall get none because we can't considering numbers. So we are going to make a commit, okay? So state dot, sorry, so it's state dot commit, okay? So what are we committing? We are committing that we're going to have a mutation, a change. We are committing that we're going to have a mutation. A mutation is like a change. And this change will be update cut. Update cut. So that's what I'm going to call it. And it will take in the value VA. So, which means I need to come and create the mutation. Okay? So this is down here is the action. So action is making our calculations, and then above the action is the mutation. Mutation. So the mutation is taking in our change. So I'm going to write that I need mutations, and the mutation I've said it's okay, I need to add a comma here. And the mutation is going to be called update cut. So update cut, and it will be taking in two things now. It will be taking in the state as a required value, and the other requirement is what we give it here. So VA as a variable. All right, so we now need to update the cut here, okay? So it's going to be state, this state, so state dot cut is going to equal to VA. So that's the value. All right, so fingers crossed, when we reload, everything should work. And the initial value is 0. The moment I click on subtract, it subtracts 1 because it's already taking in what the method is giving it, okay? So when I subtract, you can see it's updating there, okay? So I need to make sure that it also updates here. So 1 should be subtracted from. Okay, so I need to go to my welcome where I have my my home, and I call in the same variable. So I need to make sure that it takes in from, so instead, we are going to dispatch to. So let's do a practice again. So it will be this dot store dot dispatch, okay? The action is going to be maybe more to cut, just like that. I don't need the payload for the moment. We shall see what the payload does in our coming videos. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create that dispatch. So I'm going to go to my actions, and I create another action. So I'm going to put a comma here. So the action is, let me just copy it. Where is it? More to cut. So the action is called more to cut, and it will take in a state as the initial value, so state, and then again it will get, okay, so let VA, okay, let this one be BA equal to this dot getters dot get cut, okay, and then it will do a +1. Therefore, I have to make sure I commit that by making a state dot commit, which will take in two things. It will take in the state, and then it will also the state, sorry, the mutation, which will be, again, the mutation is going to be update cut, okay. So the mutation again is going to be update cut. I don't need to create another because the action is already there. So it will work with update cut, okay. I think it's going to take on BA. So let me let me make this VA instead of BA, but I could have created another action. So update cut, and then it takes VA. So I don't need to rewrite the code again. Great. So let's go and check out what we have. All right. Okay, so if I choose add, nothing is happening because I don't have the initial value. Maybe subtract, again, sub, the add is not working well. We need to see what we have in the add. So I need to come back and check my dispatch here. I think I've made an error. Okay, so this dot, this dot store dot dispatch, and that's the error I think I've been making. If I go to the, okay, this dot store dot dispatch, that's the error I've been making. So I should be able to, okay, you can see I'm adding to cart right now, but this value is not changing because we've not loaded it. And then when I go to subtract, it has automatically loaded and subtracted to this. Now the reason it's automatically loading is because of this method here, okay? So let me just take that out. I also go to my, and take this out. I do think that's what causing that, so I'll save all. Okay, so I can subtract, I can go ahead and add. When I come back here, you can see it's no longer subtracting automatically. All right, so let me go and make sure that this updates here based on whatever. For example, if I go to this, I need it to show also what is here. All right, and that, let me go to the about. I think I may need the computed property. Okay, all what I need now is to make sure that I have this dot subcut, okay, so because it's what I'm displaying, so this dot subcut, okay, is equal to get what the store has, and then I'm going to go to, again, to add cut here, and I make sure that this dot add cut is equal to what the store has. What did I take? Okay. Is equal to what the store has. Great, it should be able to update. And then I also want to make sure that my cut is an empty figure like this one. Great. Do we have anything or a value? Subtract home, subtract home. Okay, here we go. You can see. Now it's showing 6 here, but it's adding the value there because it has already now got it from the storage. And then subtract here, it's showing 6, yet it has 7. So it has already, this indicates what the store has. So the store has 7 and the cat has this. All right, so I need to go to this, and instead of doing it here, I get it from the computed property. All right, so I'm going to go and make a computed property, and that computed property is going to take in something. So it's going to take in, let me see, This is from cat, sorry, that function from cat, and then from cat we'll have this dot, that, great, and then again I go to home, I create a computed property, computed, and then it is taken to cat, okay, and then takes in the same value, so this will be this dot add to cat. Okay, so let's see. Now when I click, it changes. When I click, this does not change, and this is the reason why I need to return this. So it will be return that, and then I need to go here and also add the return value. So this will be return. I save all. We see if we have anything updated. Okay, so now what I see here, so instead of rendering this, we're going to render this. So here I'm going to render from cat, up here from cat, and then I also render to cat up there, to cat. Now it does not mean that add to cart does not work, because that's where we store our value before we render it up there. All right, so we're going to save that. Therefore, we have our answers, and you can see both of them are working very well on both sides. So it's reading the currently stored property. All right, this has been a long video. I hope you subscribe and share, and I hope I've been able not to waste your time, but rather solve anything required. And this is going to be very useful in all our next videos. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you subscribe, like, share, donate. The donation link is down there in the description. Comment. I read all those comments personally. Like, the YouTube algorithm will need to understand what we're doing. All right, so let's meet in that other video where we're going to be now dealing with the login, log out, and register of our project. Let's meet in that other video. And here are the pages of the login and the register page. Okay, so login and register. All right, so let's meet in that other video.